Welcome to audiobook segment. Every story you'll hear is crafted from the ground up, written, produced, and narrated entirely by us. Nothing recycled, nothing repurposed, just original work made for this channel. So grab your headphones, settle in, and enjoy today's audiobook. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. Without it, motivation fades, distractions take over, and potential remains untapped. Freedom is not just about doing whatever you want, it is earned through control, structure, and consistent effort. In this audiobook, you will discover why discipline is the key to unlocking your freedom and living life on your own terms. Chapter 1: The Foundation of Discipline. Discipline is the habit of doing what needs to be done, even when you do not feel like it. It is the ability to control impulses, resist temptations, and focus on what matters most. Freedom without discipline is chaos, while discipline without purpose is hollow. True success comes when discipline and clarity combine, creating both direction and power. The first step to building discipline is self-awareness. You must understand your strengths, weaknesses, habits, and routines. Knowing where you waste time or energy allows you to take control of your actions. Self-awareness also highlights patterns that lead to procrastination, distraction, or inconsistency. Awareness is the foundation for intentional change. Small actions lead to big results. Discipline is not about extreme measures or perfection. It is about consistent, manageable steps. Completing daily tasks, maintaining routines, and following through on commitments builds momentum. Over time, small disciplined actions accumulate into massive achievements. Environment shapes behavior. Discipline is easier when your surroundings support your goals. Remove distractions, organize your space, and create cues that trigger productive habits. Your environment either reinforces discipline or undermines it. By controlling what you can, you make disciplined action natural rather than a constant struggle. Self-control is central to discipline. It is the ability to pause before acting on impulses, evaluate choices, and take the action aligned with long-term goals. Practicing self-control in small, everyday situations strengthens willpower, making it easier to handle larger challenges. Willpower is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. Goals provide focus for discipline. Without clear objectives, effort disperses and motivation fluctuates. Discipline channels energy toward meaningful outcomes. Setting clear, achievable goals allows you to prioritize tasks, maintain consistency, and track progress. Goals act as the compass guiding disciplined action. Time management reinforces discipline. Planning your day, allocating time for essential tasks, and adhering to schedules prevent chaos and wasted effort. Discipline is easier when you know what must be done, when, and why. Organized time creates structure, reduces stress, and maximizes productivity. Commitment strengthens discipline. Showing up consistently, even when motivation wanes, builds trust in yourself. Commitment means taking responsibility for results and refusing to abandon effort when challenges arise. Discipline grows when commitment becomes a habit, not a reaction to fleeting feelings. Motivation fluctuates, but discipline endures. Relying solely on inspiration is risky, because energy and mood change daily. Discipline is the engine that keeps action going. When motivation dips, by creating routines and habits, you make progress automatic, independent of emotional states. Freedom is the reward of discipline. By mastering your actions, you create choices instead of being controlled by circumstances. Freedom comes not from indulgence but from control. Control over your mind, your habits, and your environment. Discipline is the path that transforms limitations into opportunities. Obstacles are inevitable, but discipline provides resilience. Challenges test patience, focus, and effort. A disciplined mindset views obstacles as opportunities to learn, improve, and strengthen willpower. Discipline does not remove difficulties, it gives you the tools to overcome them effectively. Energy management supports discipline. Physical and mental well-being are necessary to sustain focus and effort. Adequate sleep, nutrition, exercise, and rest ensure that discipline can be maintained consistently. A strong body and a clear mind make consistent action easier and more effective. Reflection strengthens progress. Regularly reviewing actions, results, and habits allows adjustment and improvement. Discipline is not blind persistence. It is intelligent consistency. Learning from past actions ensures that effort aligns with purpose and grows more effective over time. Habits compound. Daily disciplined actions multiply in impact, creating long-term freedom and achievement. Small, consistent steps lead to mastery in skills, routines, and behaviors. Discipline builds momentum that becomes unstoppable once habits are entrenched. Ultimately, discipline equals freedom. By controlling your actions, time, environment, and energy, you create opportunities for achievement, growth, and personal fulfillment. Discipline is not punishment. It is the tool that unlocks your potential and ensures that freedom is earned, sustained, and meaningful. Chapter 2: Building Habits of Discipline. Discipline is not something you are born with. It is a skill cultivated through habits. Habits are repeated actions that shape behavior and define results. The most successful people do not rely on occasional bursts of motivation. They rely on consistent habits that create a disciplined life. Building habits intentionally ensures that discipline becomes automatic rather than a daily struggle. Start small. Trying to change everything at once often leads to failure. Focus on one habit at a time, something manageable and measurable. Small wins build confidence and momentum, making it easier to tackle more challenging habits over time. Discipline grows when success feels achievable rather than overwhelming. Consistency matters more than intensity. Performing a small action daily is far more effective than doing a large task inconsistently. Consistency reinforces neural pathways in the brain, making disciplined behavior easier and more natural. The key is to do something every day, even if it is imperfect, because repetition creates lasting change. Routines are the backbone of habit formation. Structure your day around key activities, allocating specific times for work, learning, exercise, and rest. When habits are tied to routines, they require less mental effort and are less likely to be skipped. Predictable patterns of action build automatic discipline. Triggers or cues support habit creation. Linking a new habit to an existing behavior or environment helps it stick. For example, drinking water after brushing your teeth or reviewing goals after morning coffee connects the habit to a natural trigger. Over time, the action becomes automatic and effortless. Accountability strengthens habit formation. Sharing your goals with a friend, mentor, or coach increases commitment. Knowing someone is aware of your actions encourages follow-through. Accountability systems, whether through partnerships or tracking apps, provide external restorement for disciplined behavior. Reward yourself strategically. Positive reinforcement reinforces habits and motivates continued effort. Celebrate small wins, acknowledge progress, and allow brief rewards for completing disciplined actions. Rewards must be aligned with your goals to ensure they do not become distractions or undermine long-term habits. Eliminate friction. Make it easy to practice the habits you want to build and difficult to engage in behaviors you want to avoid. Remove distractions, organize your environment, and simplify routines. The easier a habit is to perform, the more likely it is to become permanent. The harder it is to fall into bad patterns, the stronger your discipline grows. Mindset shapes habit success. Believe that change is possible and that effort produces results. Self-doubt, procrastination, or negative thinking undermines habits. Discipline requires confidence in your ability to act consistently, even when results are not immediate. Faith in progress fuels persistence. Tracking progress reinforces habits. Keeping a log, journal, or checklist creates awareness and motivation. Seeing streaks of success progress toward goals or improvement over time encourages continuation. Measurement transforms abstract effort into tangible evidence of growth. Eliminate perfectionism. Waiting for the perfect moment or ideal circumstances delays habit formation. Discipline grows through action, not hesitation. Accept imperfection, act consistently, and adjust along the way. Progress, not perfection, is the true metric of success. Patience is essential. Habits do not form overnight. Neural pathways take time to solidify, and consistent repetition is required. Recognize that discipline is a long-term investment, and persistence compounds results. Daily effort eventually transforms into automatic behavior. Self-awareness aids habit alignment. Identify which habits contribute most to your goals and which waste energy. Focus your discipline on high-value behaviors. Aligning habits with purpose ensures that your efforts produce meaningful outcomes, creating both motivation and momentum. Adaptation improves habit durability. Life circumstances change, and rigid routines may break under pressure. Adjust habits to new contexts without abandoning core disciplines. Flexibility ensures that habits remain consistent even when conditions shift, reinforcing long-term commitment. Reflection accelerates improvement. Review habits regularly to see what works, what fails, and what can be optimized. Adjust routines, triggers, or rewards based on insights gained. Discipline is strengthened when habits evolve intelligently rather than mechanically. Group support reinforces habits. Surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals or joining communities with shared goals encourages consistency. Social influence and peer reinforcement make discipline more natural and sustainable as habits become part of a shared culture rather than a solitary struggle. Energy management supports habit adherence. Physical and mental energy influence your ability to act consistently. Proper sleep, nutrition, and stress management ensure that you have the stamina to maintain habits. Without sufficient energy, even the strongest intentions falter. So care for your body and mind complements habit building. Visualization strengthens habit commitment. Imagine yourself successfully practicing a habit, achieving your goals, and living with discipline. Mental rehearsal reinforces motivation, confidence, and clarity of purpose. Visualization primes your mind to act in alignment with your desired habits. Ultimately, building habits of discipline is the foundation for freedom, achievement, and personal mastery. Small, consistent actions tied to routines, triggers, and purpose compound over time. Discipline becomes natural when habits are established, freeing your mind from indecision, procrastination, and chaos. With strong habits, you act automatically in alignment with goals, creating the life you envision. And as you continue, the next chapter will explore time mastery and productivity, showing how disciplined routines and habits amplify efficiency and focus to achieve more in less time. Chapter 3: Time Mastery and Productivity. Time is the one resource that is equally available to everyone but often used very differently. How you manage your time determines how much you accomplish, how much stress you experience, and how quickly you progress toward your goals. Discipline is the key to time mastery because structured habits, focus, and intentional action maximize the value of every minute. The first step in mastering time is awareness. You must understand how you currently spend your hours. Tracking tasks, activities, and energy levels reveals patterns, inefficiencies, and wasted time. Awareness allows you to make informed decisions about how to allocate your most valuable resource, your attention. Prioritization is essential. Not all tasks carry equal weight. Some actions directly advance goals, while others are distractions or low-value obligations. By focusing on high-impact tasks first, you ensure that effort is invested in meaningful results. Tools like task lists, calendars, and priority matrices help identify what deserves your attention each day. Planning increases efficiency. A clear plan outlines what needs to be done when and how, Daily, weekly, and monthly plans provide structure, reduce decision fatigue, and maintain momentum. Discipline ensures that planning is not sporadic. It becomes a consistent habit, guiding every action toward purpose. Time blocking is a practical method for focus. Allocating specific time periods for specific activities reduces multitasking, improves concentration, and ensures that priorities are addressed. By dedicating uninterrupted periods to important work, you increase quality, speed, and effectiveness. Avoiding distractions protects productivity. Phones, social media, and unnecessary interruptions erode focus and extend task duration. Discipline involves creating environments that minimize distractions, setting boundaries, and training attention to remain on the task at hand. Controlled focus is the backbone of productive work. Energy management amplifies productivity. Focused work requires mental clarity and stamina. Scheduling demanding tasks during peak energy periods and lighter activities during low energy periods ensures efficiency. Sleep, nutrition, and breaks all contribute to sustained performance throughout the day. Delegation is part of time mastery. You cannot do everything alone. Identifying tasks that others can handle and trusting them to execute frees your energy for high-value activities. Delegation requires discipline, clear communication, and accountability, but it multiplies effectiveness and accelerates progress. Batching similar tasks increases efficiency. Grouping similar activities, such as emails, calls, or administrative work, reduces transition time and mental switching costs. Discipline ensures that batching is implemented consistently, rather than sporadically, allowing deeper focus on core priorities. Avoid procrastination through action triggers. Discipline is reinforced when small, immediate actions break inertia. Starting a task, even imperfectly, creates momentum. Once begun, it becomes easier to maintain focus and complete the work. Procrastination is often the enemy of productivity, but disciplined initiation overcomes it. Setting deadlines accelerates completion. Self-imposed deadlines create urgency and prevent tasks from dragging indefinitely. Discipline requires honoring these deadlines consistently, even when motivation fluctuates. Deadlines provide structure, accountability, and rhythm to your workflow. Reflection and review improve productivity over time. Analyzing what was accomplished, what was delayed, and what caused inefficiency allows adjustments in planning and execution. Weekly reviews ensure that routines and priorities align with goals, enhancing both effectiveness and foresight. Saying no preserves time. Every yes is a commitment of energy and attention. Discipline involves evaluating requests, opportunities, and distractions before agreeing. Prioritizing your own goals over non-essential demands ensures that time is used purposefully rather than reactively. Automation reduces repetitive effort. Technology allows routine tasks to be automated, freeing mental space for higher-value work. Scheduling tools, reminders, and automated processes support disciplined time management, ensuring consistency and reducing wasted effort. Focus on results, not busyness. Being busy does not equal being productive. Discipline ensures that time spent contributes directly to meaningful outcomes. Constant evaluation of effort versus impact allows you to redirect energy where it truly matters, maximizing achievement with minimal wasted effort. Momentum compounds. Completing one important task creates energy and confidence to tackle the next. Discipline ensures that momentum is maintained, reducing the tendency to procrastinate or fragment attention. Each completed action reinforces habit, focus, and efficiency. Flexibility is also necessary. While planning and structure are vital, unexpected challenges and opportunities arise. A disciplined mindset allows for adaptation without losing sight of priorities. Balancing structure with flexibility ensures that productivity remains consistent even under changing circumstances. Continuous improvement fuels mastery. Reflecting on routines, adopting better methods, and learning from experience enhances efficiency. Discipline ensures that improvement is not occasional but consistent, creating a cycle of learning, adjustment, and elevated productivity over time. Ultimately, time mastery is the result of disciplined focus, intentional action, and efficient routines. By managing energy, eliminating distractions, prioritizing high-value work, and reviewing progress regularly, you make every moment count. Productivity is not about doing more tasks, it is about achieving meaningful results consistently, using discipline as the tool to transform time into freedom, growth, and success. And as you continue this journey, the next chapter will explore mental toughness and resilience, showing how discipline strengthens your ability to face challenges, overcome setbacks, and maintain focus under pressure. Chapter 4: Mental Toughness and Resilience. Discipline does not only live in your habits and routines, it lives in your mind. Mental toughness is the strength that keeps you steady when life pushes against you. It is the ability to stay calm under pressure, to keep moving forward when things get hard, and to recover quickly when you fall. Without mental toughness, discipline collapses at the first sign of discomfort. With it, you become unshakable. Resilience begins with acceptance. Life will not always go your way. There will be setbacks, disappointments, and obstacles. Mentally strong people understand that challenges are not signs of failure, but opportunities to grow. Instead of resisting reality, they accept it, adapt, and take the next step. Acceptance does not mean giving up. It means facing the truth so you can act effectively. Perspective is the key to resilience. How you interpret difficulty determines how you respond. When you see problems as personal attacks or unfair situations, frustration grows and motivation fades. But when you see them as lessons, you regain control. Every difficulty becomes a chance to learn, improve, and strengthen your mind. The situation does not define you, your response does. Discipline supports resilience through consistency. When life feels uncertain, structure creates stability. Simple routines like waking up early, exercising, or journaling anchor your day and remind you that control begins with your choices. Even small acts of discipline provide confidence and clarity in chaotic moments. Mental toughness grows through discomfort. Strength is not built in comfort zones, it develops under pressure. Pushing through difficult tasks, enduring temporary pain, and refusing to quit teach your brain that you can handle more than you think. Discipline and discomfort are partners. The more you embrace one, the more powerful you become. Focus on what you can control. Much of life is unpredictable, but your effort, attitude, and response are always within your control. Wasting energy on things you cannot change only breeds frustration. Mental strength comes from directing focus toward what is possible, productive, and meaningful. Emotional control is another part of resilience. Strong people feel emotions fully, but do not let emotions dictate their actions. They pause, think, and respond rather than react. Emotional control allows discipline to stay intact during stress, anger, or disappointment. Calmness under pressure is not the absence of feeling. It is mastery over reaction. Adversity builds confidence. Each time you overcome a setback, you prove to yourself that you are capable. This internal proof creates lasting belief in your strength. Resilient people look back at past struggles as evidence that they can survive and succeed again. They build a library of victories that fuels confidence in future battles. Preparation also increases resilience. Mental toughness is not just about reacting to difficulty, it's about being ready for it. When you plan for obstacles, prepare for fatigue, and visualize success, challenges lose their power to surprise you. Prepared minds stay calm when others panic, because they expected the storm before it came. Self-talk shapes resilience. The words you use with yourself either build you up or tear you down. Negative inner dialogue weakens courage, while constructive self-talk strengthens resolve. Saying "I can handle this" changes your state of mind and your performance. The mind listens to what you repeatedly tell it. Feed it strength, not fear. Patience is a form of strength. Resilience is not only about action, it is about endurance. Sometimes progress is slow and results take time. Mental toughness means staying committed even when outcomes are invisible. Patience combined with persistence is unstoppable. Failure becomes fuel for the resilient. Instead of avoiding mistakes, strong minds analyze them, learn, and move forward. Every failure carries information about what to improve. When failure is viewed as feedback rather than defeat, growth becomes constant. Discipline ensures that learning happens after every loss, turning setbacks into stepping stones. Support systems strengthen resilience. Even mentally tough people need allies. Friends, mentors, and communities provide perspective, encouragement, and accountability. Discipline does not mean isolation. It means choosing the right people who push you to grow and help you stay grounded when challenges arise. Visualization enhances mental toughness. When you picture yourself staying calm, pushing through pain, or succeeding after struggle, you train your mind for those situations. Visualization prepares your brain to respond confidently under pressure. Athletes, soldiers, and leaders use this tool to strengthen focus and courage before real challenges appear. Gratitude builds mental stability. Even in hardship, finding things to appreciate shifts focus from loss to strength. Gratitude grounds the mind, reduces fear, and increases resilience. By acknowledging what remains good, you remind yourself that struggle does not erase value, it reveals it. Adaptability is part of resilience. Life rarely follows plans exactly. Mentally tough individuals adjust strategies while keeping goals constant. Flexibility allows discipline to survive under change. When one path closes, resilience finds another without losing direction. Rest is also part of mental toughness. Strength does not mean pushing endlessly until exhaustion. True resilience includes recovery, sleep, quiet, and reflection. Rest restores clarity, energy, and focus. Without it, discipline burns out. Balance is strength, not weakness. Courage holds everything together. Resilience is built on courage, the willingness to face fear, uncertainty, and pain while moving forward anyway. Courage does not eliminate fear, it overpowers it with action. Every courageous step deepens mental strength, making future steps easier. Ultimately, mental toughness and resilience transform discipline from routine to power. You no longer depend on perfect conditions or external motivation. You act because you have trained your mind to stay steady, focused, and strong. Life's storms become tests rather than threats, and through them you grow into the person capable of lasting freedom and success. And as you continue this journey, the next chapter will explore self-control and emotional discipline, revealing how mastering your inner world creates calm, focus, and strength in every area of life. Chapter 5: Self-Control and Emotional Discipline. Discipline is not only about what you do, it is about what you choose not to do. Self-control is the invisible force behind every strong decision, every calm reaction, and every moment you resist temptation. Without it, discipline becomes unstable because your emotions take the driver's seat. With it, you become the master of your own actions, not a servant to your impulses. Self-control starts in the mind. It is the ability to pause between feeling and acting. When something frustrates you, when fear rises, or when pleasure tempts you to give in, that small pause is your greatest power. It gives you space to decide instead of react. The more often you take that pause, the stronger your control becomes. Emotional discipline means being aware of what you feel without letting it dictate your behavior. It is not about suppressing emotions or pretending you do not care. It is about understanding your emotions and guiding them in useful directions. Anger can turn into determination, fear can turn into focus, sadness can deepen empathy, and excitement can drive persistence. The disciplined mind transforms emotion into energy for purpose. Everyday life offers countless tests of self-control. It appears in small choices like staying off your phone while studying, or saying no to junk food when you promise to eat better. It also appears in larger moments, like staying calm during conflict or continuing to work when motivation fades. These small acts are not separate from greatness, they are the foundation of it. People often think emotional control means feeling nothing. That's not true. Emotion gives life color and meaning. Without emotion, we would not care enough to pursue anything. But without control, emotions scatter your focus and steal your energy. Discipline turns emotion from a wild flame into a steady fire that warms, guides, and fuels action. The key to self-control is awareness. You cannot manage what you do not notice. Start by paying attention to what triggers your reactions. What makes you angry? What makes you anxious? What causes you to lose focus? Once you identify patterns, you can plan your responses before they happen. Awareness turns chaos into clarity. Delayed gratification is another muscle of self-control. It means choosing short-term discomfort for long-term benefit. It is the ability to say, "Not now, but later," knowing that the reward will be greater. People who master delayed gratification build powerful lives because they invest their energy in what truly matters. Every time you resist a small temptation, you train your brain to prioritize the future over the moment. Discipline is strongest when paired with purpose. When your why is clear, control feels easier. Think of a soldier who wakes before dawn, trains through exhaustion, and follows strict rules, not because someone forces him, but because he believes in the mission. Purpose transforms control from restriction to freedom. It reminds you that every sacrifice is part of something greater. Self-control also involves managing attention. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Screens, notifications, endless noise. Emotional discipline means guarding your focus as if it were treasure. Every time you give attention to something unimportant, you lose energy for what truly matters. Control your attention and you control your life. Stress tests your emotional discipline. When pressure builds, your mind seeks quick relief. That's when discipline is most needed. Deep breathing, mindfulness, and reflection help you stay steady. A calm mind can solve problems. A panicked one only multiplies them. Staying centered in stress does not come from ignoring tension, but from accepting it and responding wisely. Anger is one of the biggest challenges to self-control. It can feel powerful, but uncontrolled anger destroys relationships, clarity, and peace. Emotional discipline turns anger into action that solves, not harms. Instead of shouting, you listen. Instead of reacting, you respond. Each time you control anger, you build respect for yourself and gain respect from others. Fear is another emotion that tests your discipline. Fear warns us of danger, but it also limits growth. Emotional control helps you recognize which fears are real and which are imagined. When you push through fear and act with courage, you rewire your brain to see challenges as manageable. Discipline allows fear to be a signal, not a cage. Joy and excitement also require discipline. Too much excitement can lead to impulsive choices, spending too much, talking too fast, overcommitting your time. Even happiness must be balanced with awareness. Emotional maturity means celebrating without losing focus, being grateful without becoming careless. Habits make self-control easier. Every disciplined person builds systems that reduce the need for constant decisions. For example, planning your meals removes the temptation to eat poorly. Setting study times removes the question of when to start. The more structure you create, the less willpower you waste. Systems protect your energy for what truly requires choice. Self-discipline grows through repetition. You cannot read about control and suddenly master it. You must practice it daily, in traffic, at work, in relationships. Every time you control your emotions, you strengthen a pathway in your brain. Eventually, calmness becomes your natural state. Like muscles trained in a gym, self-control grows through consistent effort. Forgiveness supports emotional discipline. Holding grudges drains mental energy. When you forgive others, you release yourself from emotional chains. Forgiveness does not mean approving what happened. It means choosing peace over poison. A disciplined mind protects peace as fiercely as it protects progress. Silence is also a form of control. You do not have to respond to every comment or join every argument. Sometimes strength means saying nothing. Silence gives you time to think, observe, and act wisely. It keeps your emotions from leading you into regret. Self-control is tested most when no one is watching. True discipline is private. It shows in what you do when no one will praise or judge you. When you make good choices in solitude, you build integrity, the kind of strength that never depends on an audience. The reward of emotional discipline is freedom. When you no longer need to react, explain, or chase approval, you become free to choose your path. Self-control gives stability to your emotions, focus to your thoughts, and peace to your mind. You stop being controlled by the world and start leading yourself. To strengthen your control, practice stillness. Spend moments in quiet reflection each day. Notice your thoughts without judgment. Let them pass and refocus on what matters. Stillness clears your inner space so you can act with intention, not impulse. Remember, emotion is energy. It can destroy or build, depending on how you direct it. The disciplined mind channels emotion into creation, not chaos. That is the difference between a person who reacts and a person who leads. In time, self-control becomes natural. You begin to notice when your emotions rise, but instead of being swept away, you observe them calmly. You recognize anger before it burns, fear before it paralyzes, and excitement before it distracts. You use emotion as a guide, not a master. Discipline equals freedom, because control equals choice. When you master yourself, the world no longer decides your behavior. You do. You can choose peace over rage, focus over distraction, patience over impulse. That power is what makes discipline the highest form of strength. And as this journey continues, the next chapter will explore building productive habits, how to turn control into momentum that carries you toward lasting success, one disciplined step at a time. Chapter 6. Building productive habits. Discipline becomes powerful when it turns into habit. Habits are the invisible patterns that shape your days, and your days shape your life. The person you become tomorrow is built by the choices you repeat today. Productive habits are not born from motivation, but from consistency, from doing what matters even when you do not feel like it. Every habit starts with a single action. You do something once, then again, and soon your brain begins to expect it. What was once difficult becomes automatic. The secret is repetition. Each repetition sends a message to your mind. This is who I am. Over time, those messages form your identity. You no longer try to be disciplined. You simply are. The foundation of building habits is clarity. You must know exactly what you want to change. I want to be better is not clear. I want to read for 20 minutes every night before bed is clear. The brain needs specific instructions. Without clarity, discipline has no direction. Start small. The mind resists sudden, massive changes, but it accepts small, steady ones. When you build habits slowly, you avoid burnout and create lasting patterns. One push-up can grow into 10, then 50. One page can grow into a book. Every great achievement begins with something small done consistently. Habits depend on cues. A cue is a trigger that reminds your brain to act. For example, leaving your running shoes by the door becomes a cue to exercise. Putting your phone on the table at night becomes a cue to stop scrolling and start reading. When you design your environment to support your habits, discipline feels easier. Environment is stronger than willpower. If your surroundings encourage distractions, self-control weakens. But when your environment aligns with your goals, it works for you, not against you. Keep your workspace clean, remove temptations, and keep visible reminders of what matters. Structure your world so that the right choice is the easy choice. Consistency is the heart of habit. Doing a small thing every day beats doing a big thing once in a while. Discipline is not about bursts of effort, but steady rhythm. Even on low-energy days, doing a little keeps the chain unbroken. Consistency tells your brain that this action is non-negotiable, like brushing your teeth or eating breakfast. Habits grow faster when linked to existing routines. This is called habit stacking. You attach a new behavior to one you already do automatically. For example, after brushing your teeth, you might spend 2 minutes meditating. After making your bed, you could write a short journal entry. The existing habit acts as a bridge to the new one, making it easier to remember and repeat. Rewards reinforce habits. The brain loves progress and pleasure. When you complete a habit, acknowledge it. You might say to yourself, "Good job," or "Take a short break," or "Check it off a list." This small recognition strengthens the behavior loop in your brain. You are teaching yourself that discipline feels good. Avoid perfectionism. It destroys habit growth. Missing one day does not erase progress, but quitting because you missed one day does. Forgive small breaks and return quickly. Discipline means commitment over time, not flawless performance. What matters most is that you return to your path again and again. Track your progress. Writing down what you've done makes habits visible and satisfying. It reminds you how far you've come and motivates you to keep going. Whether it's a notebook, an app, or a simple calendar, tracking turns invisible progress into proof. The power of habit is that it removes decision fatigue. When something becomes automatic, your mind is free to focus on higher goals. You no longer waste energy debating what to do. You just do it. That is why disciplined people often seem calm. They rely on systems, not emotions, to guide their days. Habits are stronger when tied to identity. Instead of saying, "I'm trying to run," say, "I'm a runner." Instead of saying, "I'm trying to wake up early," say, "I'm the kind of person who values the morning." When you identify with your actions, you protect them naturally. Your habits become expressions of who you are, not chores you force yourself to do. Energy management is part of building habits. You cannot rely on willpower when you are exhausted. Rest, nutrition, and exercise are not luxuries. They are the foundation of discipline. A tired mind makes poor decisions. Protect your energy like treasure, and your habits will have a stable foundation to grow from. Distraction is the enemy of productive habits. Every time you break focus, you weaken the pattern your brain is trying to build. To strengthen concentration, schedule time for deep work, periods when you focus fully on one thing without interruption. Even 30 minutes of deep focus daily can transform your productivity. Habits often fade because they lack purpose. Ask yourself why each habit matters. How does it connect to your larger vision of success or freedom? When your habits serve a deeper goal, they become meaningful. You stop fighting yourself because every action feels like a step towards something you truly want. Social influence shapes habits too. Spend time with people who value growth, discipline, and focus. Their energy will lift yours. Likewise, distance yourself from people who drain motivation or encourage distraction. Environment includes not only your space but your circle. Choose both carefully. Momentum builds motivation. When you start seeing results, more energy, better focus, progress toward goals, you begin to enjoy the process. Motivation is not the cause of habits, it is their result. Once your brain feels the benefits of discipline, it begins to crave them. Reflection keeps habits alive. Once a week, pause and ask yourself, what's working? What's not? What habits are helping me grow? Reflection prevents you from drifting into autopilot. It ensures that your discipline stays aligned with your goals. Flexibility is also important. Sometimes life changes, and certain habits no longer serve you. Adjust them instead of quitting altogether. True discipline adapts. It does not break. The goal is not to be perfect, but to be consistent through change. Accountability multiplies discipline. Sharing your goals with a friend or mentor adds responsibility. When someone else expects progress, your mind finds extra strength to stay committed. Accountability is not weakness, it is a tool for success. Morning and evening routines are powerful anchors for productive habits. Mornings set your direction, evenings reset your energy. Starting your day with focus and ending with reflection builds rhythm and calm. Over time, this rhythm becomes the heartbeat of your discipline. Remember, habits are built in silence. No one claps when you wake early or choose to read instead of scroll. But those unseen moments define your future. Every quiet decision to stay consistent writes a line in the story of your success. The path to mastery is repetition. Every musician, athlete, and leader builds greatness through daily practice. You cannot control every outcome, but you can control the process, showing up every single day, even when it's not exciting. That is where discipline transforms into freedom. When you trust the process, results take care of themselves. Habits become the machinery of your success. You wake, act, grow, and progress almost effortlessly because discipline has become your nature. The more you practice, the more natural it feels. And as your habits strengthen, your mind quiets. You no longer debate, delay, or doubt. You live in flow, each action leading smoothly to the next. That is the power of productive habits. They build a life of ease through effort, of freedom through discipline. As this chapter closes, remember this truth. Success is not built in one moment of greatness, but in thousands of small, disciplined moments that no one sees. Each habit is a brick, and each brick builds the structure of your freedom. In the next chapter, we will explore focus and time mastery, where you'll learn how disciplined minds protect their most valuable resource, time, to build a life of clarity, peace, and lasting progress. Chapter 7, Focus and Time Mastery. Time is the one resource that cannot be replaced. You can lose money and earn it back. You can lose strength and rebuild it. But once a second passes, it's gone forever. That truth can be frightening, but it can also be freeing. When you learn to master your time, you gain control over your life. Discipline gives you that power. It turns each day into an opportunity rather than a blur. Focus is the tool that protects your time. Without focus, even a full day can disappear into distractions, noise, and half-finished tasks. But when you learn to focus deeply, you turn a few hours into powerful progress. The difference between the average and the exceptional is not intelligence, it's focus. Modern life is full of distractions. Notifications, messages, endless content, they all compete for your attention. Each one pulls your mind away from what truly matters. Focus begins when you decide that your attention is your responsibility. No one else will protect it for you. You must choose what deserves your energy and what does not. Mastering time starts with awareness. Ask yourself, where does my time go? How much of it do I control, and how much do I waste? The first step to time discipline is noticing how you spend it. Track your hours honestly. You may discover that much of your day slips away through small, meaningless habits. Awareness creates choice. Choice creates control. Once you see clearly, prioritize. Not everything deserves equal attention. There will always be more to do than time to do it. The disciplined person does not try to do everything, they choose what truly matters. Every yes you give is also a no to something else. Choose your yes carefully. Focus thrives in simplicity. Too many goals or projects divide your attention. Pick one or two important missions and commit fully. It is better to go deep on one meaningful task than to scatter your effort across many. Greatness requires depth, not busyness. Time mastery also means protecting your mornings. The first hours of the day set your tone. When you begin with intention, you create momentum. Plan your morning before it arrives. Wake, move, reflect, and start your most important work before the world distracts you. Mornings are a gift of quiet focus. Treat them with respect. Discipline with time means planning your day in blocks. Each block has a purpose: work, learning, rest, movement. When you dedicate time blocks, you reduce the number of decisions you must make. Decision fatigue disappears, and focus strengthens. You no longer ask, "What should I do next?" You already know. Eliminate multitasking. It is one of the greatest enemies of focus. The human brain cannot truly do two things that require attention at once. Switching rapidly between tasks only creates mental noise and fatigue. Focus on one thing, finish it, and then move on. Slow down to speed up. Guard your attention like a gatekeeper. Every distraction has a cost, even small ones. When you stop to check your phone or reply to a message, your brain loses focus and needs time to refocus. Those seconds add up to hours. Discipline means saying no to interruptions, to noise, to anything that steals your time without giving value back. Environment shapes focus, just as it shapes habits. Design your space for clarity. A clean desk, minimal clutter, and quiet surroundings signal your brain that it is time to work. The mind mirrors the space it lives in. If your environment is chaotic, your thoughts will be too. The mind also needs rhythm. Focus cannot exist without rest. Long stretches of deep work must be balanced with recovery. Short breaks refresh the brain and keep your attention sharp. Time mastery is not about squeezing more hours into your day. It's about using each hour with quality and purpose. Procrastination is the thief of time. It often hides behind excuses like "I'll do it later" or "I'm not ready yet." The truth is, you will never feel fully ready. Action creates readiness. The moment you start, your mind begins to gather energy and direction. Discipline means acting before motivation arrives. Clarity of purpose strengthens focus. When you know exactly why a task matters, it becomes easier to stay with it. Before starting, ask yourself, what will this achieve? Why does this matter? Meaning fuels focus. Work without meaning quickly turns into distraction disguised as productivity. Time mastery also means learning to say no. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you take time away from what truly matters. Saying no is not rude. It is respectful to your mission. The disciplined person values their time and treats it as sacred. Technology can help or harm your focus depending on how you use it. Use tools to track time, block distractions, or organize priorities, but never let technology control you. The goal is to make your devices serve you, not enslave your attention. Focus improves through training. Start with short sessions of deep concentration, maybe 20 minutes. Gradually extend them. Each time you resist distraction, you strengthen your focus muscle. Over weeks and months, your ability to stay present will grow naturally. Time mastery requires reflection. At the end of each day, look back. What went well? What wasted time? Reflection transforms experience into wisdom. You cannot improve what you do not review. 5 quiet minutes of review can save hours tomorrow. The greatest secret of focus is presence. When you are fully engaged in the moment, time seems to slow down. The task absorbs you. Worries about the past or future fade. Presence is where true power lives. You cannot control the future or rewrite the past, but you can master this moment. Remember that rest is part of mastery. Sleep, breaks, and downtime recharge your mind. A rested brain focuses faster, works deeper, and creates better. Burnout is not discipline. It is neglect. Treat your energy like a resource to be renewed, not a fire to burn out. Some people think time mastery means controlling every minute. It does not. It means aligning your time with your values. It means making sure your hours reflect what matters most: your growth, purpose, and peace. A full calendar is not the same as a full life. True focus feels like freedom. When you are fully absorbed in what you love, time flows effortlessly. You stop fighting distraction and start creating. That flow state is the reward of discipline. It is the peace that comes when your mind, time, and purpose all move in the same direction. Focus connects you to excellence. Every great achievement, every book written, every song composed, every victory won, came from hours of disciplined attention. The world rewards those who can stay steady while others drift. Focus is not a talent, it is a skill built through discipline and patience. As you learn to master your time, you master your destiny. You realize that success is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. Every moment spent with intention adds to your freedom, while every moment wasted steals it. Time is the measure of your discipline and the reflection of your values. Discipline equals freedom, because it gives you ownership of your time. When you direct your focus toward purpose, distractions lose their power. You no longer chase time. You command it. Each day becomes a deliberate act of creation. And as you move forward, the next chapter will explore overcoming laziness and procrastination, revealing how disciplined minds defeat resistance and transform hesitation into unstoppable action. Chapter 8. Overcoming laziness and procrastination. Laziness and procrastination are silent destroyers. They don't shout or attack loudly. They whisper. Later, they convince you that there's still time, that you can start tomorrow, that a few minutes of rest won't hurt. But over time, those whispers steal your dreams. The difference between success and regret is often the gap between now and later. Laziness is not always about being tired. It's about resistance. It's the mind's way of avoiding discomfort. When a task feels too big, too boring, or too uncertain, the brain protects itself by choosing comfort. It tells you to rest, scroll, or distract yourself. But comfort never leads to growth. Freedom comes from doing what must be done, not what feels easy. Procrastination is the twin of laziness. It disguises itself as planning or waiting for the perfect time. You tell yourself you need more information, more energy, or more motivation, but perfection never arrives. Action creates clarity. Hesitation creates confusion. The cure for procrastination is movement. One small step forward, even when you don't feel ready. To defeat laziness, first understand it. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding, and why? Sometimes you're not lazy. You're overwhelmed. The task seems too large, so you freeze. Break it down into smaller steps. Start with something simple. Action, no matter how small, builds momentum. Momentum destroys laziness. Discipline is the weapon against delay. It does not wait for the right mood. It acts because it's the right thing to do. You do not need to feel inspired to begin. You need only to begin. Once you start, energy appears. The hardest part of any task is the first minute. After that, the mind adjusts. Procrastination thrives on excuses. You tell yourself you work better under pressure, that you need to be in the zone, or that you deserve a break. But these excuses are comfort in disguise. Discipline replaces excuses with truth. Every delay costs time, and time will never return. One way to overcome laziness is through structure. Create a daily schedule that eliminates unnecessary choices. When you know exactly what to do and when to do it, you remove the space for hesitation. A clear plan creates automatic action. Your environment also matters. A messy, noisy, or distracting space feeds procrastination. Clean your surroundings, organize your tools, and remove temptations. Every distraction is a door to laziness. Close those doors before they open. Energy management is another key. Laziness often comes from exhaustion, not lack of willpower. Rest is part of discipline, but rest must be earned and intentional. Sleep well, move your body, and eat clean food. A healthy body supports a focused mind. Accountability helps destroy procrastination. Tell someone your goals and deadlines when others expect you to follow through. Your mind finds extra drive. Accountability adds weight to your promises. Laziness loses power when your word has meaning. Visualization can also help. Picture yourself finishing the task, feeling proud, free and strong. Then picture yourself not doing it, feeling regret and frustration. The brain responds to images. When you clearly see both outcomes, your will strengthens. Fear hides beneath procrastination. Often, we delay because we're afraid. Afraid to fail. Afraid to succeed. Afraid to face the unknown. The only cure for fear is action. Every time you act, fear weakens. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite it. Discipline grows through motion. Start small. Clean one corner, write one sentence, take one step. Once you begin, momentum carries you. The secret is not motivation, it's movement. The act of doing creates the desire to keep doing. Rewards can help, but they must serve your progress, not distract from it. After finishing a task, take a short break, stretch, or enjoy something you like. The reward tells your brain that effort brings satisfaction. Over time, your mind starts to associate discipline with pleasure, not pain. Change how you talk to yourself. When you say, "I'm lazy," you reinforce the behavior. Instead, say, "I'm learning to take action." Words shape identity. You are not a lazy person. You are a person building stronger habits. Replace shame with responsibility. Shame keeps you stuck. Responsibility sets you free. Another tool is time blocking. Set a timer for 20 or 30 minutes and focus fully during that time. Promise yourself you can stop afterward if needed. Most of the time, once you start, you'll keep going. Short bursts of focus build productivity without overwhelming you. Perfectionism feeds procrastination. When you fear mistakes, you delay starting. But nothing great begins perfect. Discipline allows progress to be messy. You can refine later. First, you must begin. Progress is born from imperfection, embraced. Laziness often returns when goals feel meaningless. Reconnect with your purpose. Ask yourself why this task matters. How will completing it move you toward your vision of freedom and success? Meaning fuels motion. When the why is strong, the how becomes easy. Self-respect is another defense against laziness. When you keep promises to yourself, you build trust in your own strength. Each completed task says, "I can rely on me." That trust becomes motivation. People who respect themselves don't let laziness control them, they lead themselves through it. Discipline is not punishment, it's liberation. Laziness feels like rest, but it's a cage. True rest feels peaceful because it follows effort. Laziness brings guilt because it steals time you meant to use. Discipline replaces guilt with pride. To overcome procrastination long-term, create identity-based habits. Stop trying to force yourself to act like a disciplined person. Become one. Say to yourself, "I'm the kind of person who finishes what I start." Each time you act that way, you prove it true. Identity drives behavior more powerfully than motivation ever can. Focus on progress, not perfection. Celebrate small wins. Even 5 minutes of action is a victory over resistance. The mind learns from small successes that effort works. Over time, you stop fighting laziness because your new identity doesn't include it anymore. If you fall back into procrastination, don't waste time with guilt. Simply start again. Every restart is a victory. Consistency grows not from never falling, but from never staying down. Laziness fades when discipline becomes automatic. Each day you choose action over delay, your strength grows. Soon you no longer need to fight resistance. It disappears. The disciplined mind moves naturally, calmly, efficiently. In truth, the opposite of laziness is not endless work, it is purpose. When you live with direction, action feels natural. Your time fills with meaning, and procrastination loses its hold. The disciplined person does not chase motivation, they live by mission. Overcoming laziness and procrastination is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent, aware, and honest. It's about doing the work when it's hard, because you know freedom lives on the other side. Each time you act instead of delay, you win a battle for your future. Discipline equals freedom because it frees you from the prison of hesitation. The power to act, to move, to create, to begin is the greatest form of control you can have. Laziness asks, "What if I fail?" Discipline answers, "I'll handle it." That is the mindset of freedom. As this chapter ends, remember this truth. Every moment of hesitation is a choice. Choose action, choose movement, choose strength. And in the next chapter, we will explore consistency and perseverance. How staying committed through time turns effort into mastery, and mastery into freedom. Chapter 9. Consistency and perseverance. Success does not come from one big effort. It comes from many small, steady steps repeated over time. The truth is simple. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. Anyone can work hard for a day. Few people can show up every day. That's what separates dreamers from achievers. Consistency means doing what matters again and again, even when it's boring, tiring, or inconvenient. It's the quiet rhythm behind every great achievement. Perseverance is its partner, the strength to keep going when things get tough. Together they form the foundation of true discipline. When you start something new, motivation feels high. Everything seems exciting, but that energy fades. Most people quit when the excitement disappears. Consistency begins where motivation ends. It's the choice to keep going, not because you feel like it, but because you said you would. Perseverance is not about never falling. It's about rising every time you do. Challenges test you, but they also shape you. Every difficulty is a chance to build endurance. The strongest minds are not those who never face struggle. They are those who refuse to be broken by it. Consistency gives direction. Perseverance gives power. One keeps you moving, the other keeps you strong. When you combine them, success becomes inevitable, not overnight, but over time. Imagine water dripping on a stone. One drop changes nothing, but over months and years, the drops carve deep marks. That's the power of consistency. Small actions, repeated daily, can create results far greater than any single burst of effort. The problem is, most people seek instant results. We live in a world of shortcuts and quick fixes, but mastery takes time. Greatness grows slowly, like a tree. You can't rush roots, they need depth before height. Consistency is those roots. It anchors you through storms and seasons. Perseverance begins where comfort ends. When life feels heavy, when progress seems invisible, that's when perseverance speaks. It says, keep going. The path is hard because it's worth it. Think about any great achievement. Athletes, artists, scientists, leaders. None of them arrived by luck. They practiced, failed, learned, and tried again. What made them different was not talent, but persistence. They stayed when others left. Consistency builds habits. Habits build character. Character builds destiny. When you commit to daily effort, you're not just improving your skills, you're shaping who you are. Every small promise kept strengthens your identity as a disciplined person. But staying consistent isn't always easy. Life interrupts, distractions appear. You'll have days when you want to quit, The secret is to lower the pressure, not the standard. Instead of saying I'll do everything, say I'll do something. A small step is better than none. Progress doesn't demand perfection, it demands persistence. Perseverance grows through obstacles. Every challenge you face is a test of willpower. When you push through, you train your mind to resist quitting. Quitting feels easier now, but it steals your future strength. Perseverance is built when you keep going anyway. Sometimes, consistency looks boring. You wake up, do the same routine, see slow progress, but remember, consistency is quiet. It doesn't shout, it whispers change over time. Most people quit right before results start showing. If you can last through the silent phase, the breakthrough will come. Success has a rhythm. Every day you show up, you add one beat, miss too many beats, and the rhythm breaks. But one mistake doesn't ruin the song. Start again. The key to long-term success is not never missing a day. It's never giving up altogether. Perseverance is patience in motion. It's doing the work even when you don't see immediate rewards. You might not see growth today, but the effort is building something inside you. Discipline, strength, resilience. Growth hides before it shines. To build consistency, create systems, not goals. A goal is what you want to achieve. A system is how you achieve it. Instead of saying, I'll be disciplined, say I'll wake up at 6 and train. Instead of dreaming of success, build a daily process that leads to it. Systems create momentum. Track your progress. Write down what you do each day. Seeing small wins on paper builds confidence. It reminds you that progress is happening, even when you can't feel it. Over time, those records become proof of your persistence. Your environment matters too. Surround yourself with people who value consistency. Energy is contagious. If you spend time with those who give up easily, you'll start doing the same. Stay near those who keep pushing forward, even on bad days. Perseverance requires faith. Faith that your effort means something. When results are slow, doubt will whisper, "This isn't working," but discipline answers, "It will if I keep going." Trust the process. Success rewards patience. Rest, but don't stop. Even machines need downtime to function well. Resting with purpose restores energy. Quitting kills it. Know the difference. Rest to recover, not to escape. One reason people fail to stay consistent is that they chase motivation instead of building commitment. Motivation fades, but commitment endures. A committed person doesn't ask, "Do I feel like it?" They ask, "What needs to be done?" The difference between amateurs and professionals is that professionals act regardless of mood. Consistency turns ordinary actions into extraordinary results. A writer who writes 1 page a day finishes a book in a year. A person who saves a little each month builds wealth over time. A person who trains daily becomes strong, even without realizing it. Small daily effort compounds like interest. Perseverance teaches humility. You learn that success doesn't happen on your schedule. You must earn it, day by day. That humility keeps you grounded and grateful. The journey becomes more meaningful because you fought for it. When you feel stuck, remember this. The gap between failure and success is often just one more try. Many people quit one step before the breakthrough. Don't be that person. Keep swinging the hammer. The wall will crack eventually. Consistency and perseverance are not glamorous. They are quiet, patient, and often invisible. But they are unstoppable. When the world gets distracted, the consistent one stays focused. When others give up, the perseverant one keeps walking. And in the end, they are the ones who win. Freedom comes from this persistence, because when you train your mind to keep going, no obstacle can own you. You become unstoppable, calm, and unshaken. That's real freedom. The kind discipline gives. So remember this, talent starts the journey. Discipline sustains it, but consistency finishes it. The person who stays the course, who keeps moving forward no matter what, builds a life of strength and success. The next time you feel tired or uncertain, remind yourself, this moment is the test. Every choice to continue strengthens your future self. Every time you persist, you are rewriting who you are, someone who never quits, someone who lives free. And as we move into the next chapter, we'll explore something even deeper. How focus and clarity sharpen your discipline, guiding your energy toward the goals that truly matter. Because without focus, consistency drifts, and with it, you can direct your entire life toward greatness. Chapter 10. Focus and clarity. Focus is power, clarity is direction. Together they create unstoppable progress. Without them, even the hardest work can scatter into nothing. A disciplined mind must know where it's going and must have the strength to stay on that path. In a world full of noise, focus has become rare. Every sound, screen and notification tries to steal your attention, but attention is your most valuable resource. Where your attention goes, your life follows. If you give it away to distractions, you lose control. If you protect it, you gain freedom. Clarity is knowing what matters most. It's the vision that tells you why you're working, what you're building, and who you're becoming. When you have clarity, focus becomes easier. You stop chasing everything and start mastering something. Many people confuse being busy with being productive. They fill their days with activity but move nowhere. Motion is not progress. You can run in circles all day and end up in the same place. Focus means doing less, but doing it with purpose. A mind without clarity is like a ship without a compass. It moves, but it doesn't know where to go. You cannot live a disciplined life if you don't know your destination. Take time to define your goals clearly. What do you truly want? What does success mean to you? Not to others, but to you. Once you know your why, your how becomes clear. Clarity gives meaning to effort. When you see the bigger picture, you stop wasting time on small distractions. Every task becomes part of a mission. But focus is fragile. It fades easily. Your brain likes novelty. It craves new things. That's why you jump from one idea to another, one goal to another, without finishing any. Discipline means training your focus to stay, to resist the pull of distractions, and stay locked on your purpose. You must build habits that protect your focus. Start with your environment. Remove distractions before they remove your attention. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Keep your workspace clean. Every object you don't need is a possible distraction. Focus also means saying no. Every yes to something meaningless is a no to something important. You can't do everything, and you shouldn't try. Choose your priorities carefully. True discipline is not just doing more, it's knowing what not to do. Clarity grows from reflection. Spend time thinking, not just doing. Ask yourself, am I still on the right path? Am I working on what truly matters? Discipline is not blind repetition. It's intelligent consistency. Without reflection, even effort becomes wasted motion. Many people lose focus because they chase too many goals at once. They want success in everything, all at the same time. But you can't focus light in every direction. It must be concentrated to burn. The same is true for your energy. Choose one or two key goals and pour yourself into them. Clarity begins with simplicity. The simpler your goals, the stronger your focus. Complexity leads to confusion. Confusion leads to hesitation. Keep your mission clear, your plan simple, and your mind calm. When you feel distracted, return to your purpose. Ask yourself, will this help me get closer to my goal? If the answer is no, let it go. Distraction is not just what happens around you, it's what you allow inside you. Focus is not about force, it's about flow. You don't have to fight your mind into concentration, you have to guide it. Create conditions that invite focus. Set specific times to work, limit multitasking, and take short breaks. Rhythm builds flow. Clarity gives courage. When you know exactly what you want, you stop doubting every move. Unclear people hesitate because they don't trust their direction. Clear people act, even when afraid, because they know where they're going. The secret of focus is attention control. Most people let their attention be pulled by the loudest thing. Discipline means choosing what deserves your attention and ignoring what doesn't. You can't control everything, but you can control your focus. When your mind wanders, bring it back gently. Don't punish yourself for losing focus. Train yourself to return faster. Focus is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Clarity also means honesty. Be honest about what distracts you, what slows you down, what you fear. You can't fix what you don't face. Awareness is the first step to focus. Once you see your distractions clearly, they lose their power. Technology is a common thief of focus. Endless scrolling and notifications trick your brain into thinking you're doing something, but you're not moving forward, you're just entertained. Entertainment is fine in small doses, but don't confuse escape with progress. Protect your morning. The first hour after waking sets the tone for the day. Avoid checking your phone right away. Start with silence, gratitude, or planning. Clarity comes from calm beginnings, not chaos. When you focus deeply, time feels different. Hours pass like minutes. That's the flow state, when your skills meet challenge and your mind becomes fully absorbed. You can't reach this state through distraction. You reach it through discipline. Perseverance fuels focus. When you stay with one task long enough, your brain learns to resist wandering. Each time you return to your goal, you train mental endurance. Soon, focus becomes natural. Clarity requires self-knowledge. You must understand your strengths, weaknesses, and values. If your goals don't match who you are, you'll lose interest quickly. True focus aligns with authenticity. You can't stay consistent with something fake. Your clarity may evolve. That's normal. As you grow, your vision changes. Discipline means adjusting your direction when needed, not clinging blindly to an old plan. Stay flexible but focused. Sometimes you'll lose focus because life gets hard. Stress, failure, or emotional pain can blur your vision. In those moments, slow down, breathe, reconnect with your why. You don't need to see the whole road, just the next step. Clarity creates peace. When you know what matters, you stop comparing yourself to others. You don't chase their success. You define your own. That freedom to follow your own path is the ultimate reward of clarity. To build focus, practice single tasking. Do one thing at a time, fully. When you eat, eat. When you work, work. When you rest, rest. Multitasking divides energy. Single tasking multiplies it. Focus sharpens discipline, and discipline deepens focus. It's a cycle that grows stronger with time. The more focused you become, the less energy you waste. The less you waste, the more progress you make. A focused life is a free life, because distraction is a form of slavery. Your mind pulled in every direction by outside forces. Discipline breaks that chain. It lets you own your time and your thoughts. Clarity turns your dreams into plans. Focus turns those plans into reality. Every great achievement begins with a clear mind and a steady gaze. Success doesn't come from luck. It comes from direction and attention. So guard your focus. Define your clarity. Know where you're going, why it matters, and what you're willing to do for it. Then remove everything that doesn't serve that mission. At the end of the day, freedom is not about doing whatever you want. It's about doing what matters most, fully, intentionally, without distraction. That's the kind of freedom discipline brings. As you move forward, remember this. A clear goal and a focused mind can cut through any obstacle. Don't chase everything. Chase what matters. And in the next chapter, we'll explore emotional discipline, how mastering your emotions strengthens your control, calmness, and freedom from chaos. Chapter 11, Emotional Discipline. Discipline is not just about action, it is also about emotion. Every choice, every step, every habit is influenced by how you feel. If you let emotions control you, even the strongest intentions can fail. Emotional discipline is the ability to feel without being ruled by those feelings. Emotions are powerful. They can inspire, motivate, and drive you to greatness. But they can also mislead, distract, and destroy. Fear, anger, frustration, and doubt can push you off track if you don't manage them. Emotional discipline is learning to use emotions as tools, not as masters. Anger, for example, can energize you to act, but uncontrolled anger leads to mistakes, broken relationships, and wasted effort. Emotional discipline teaches you to channel anger into focused action rather than uncontrolled reaction. You acknowledge it, feel it, and then use it constructively. Fear is another emotion that can either protect or paralyze. It warns of danger, but it also whispers, "Don't try, don't act, don't risk." Discipline means moving forward, despite fear. The brave are not fearless. They act even when afraid. Every time you confront fear, you strengthen your emotional control. Frustration and impatience are constant tests. When things don't go as planned, your mind wants to quit. You may feel like the world is against you. Emotional discipline is patience, the ability to stay calm, steady, and persistent even when results are slow. Patience transforms struggle into growth. Emotional discipline begins with awareness. You must notice your feelings without judgment. Recognize fear, anger, doubt, or excitement as signals, not commands. Your brain will always try to guide you based on emotion, but awareness allows you to choose your response instead of reacting blindly. Self-talk is crucial. The words you speak to yourself shape how you feel. Replace blame with responsibility, doubt with curiosity, and weakness with determination. Say, "I can learn from this," instead of "I'm powerless." Emotional discipline grows when your inner voice becomes your ally, not your enemy. Control is not suppression. You do not ignore or deny your emotions. Suppression leads to explosion later. Emotional discipline means acknowledging your feelings, understanding them, and choosing your response carefully. You feel, but you don't lose control. Routine supports emotional stability. Habits of movement, meditation, sleep, and focus calm the mind. When your body and mind are disciplined, your emotions are less likely to hijack your decisions. A strong body and structured day create a steady mind. Stress tests emotional discipline constantly. Deadlines, criticism, setbacks, they all push you. The disciplined person does not collapse under stress. They breathe, step back, assess, and respond intentionally. Each challenge is an opportunity to practice calm, measured reaction. Gratitude strengthens emotional resilience. When you focus on what you have instead of what you lack, your mind becomes calmer, more positive, and better able to act effectively. Emotional discipline is not about ignoring pain. It is about balancing it with perspective. Self-control is a muscle. Each time you resist a negative impulse, overreact less, or stay calm under pressure, you strengthen that muscle. Over time, emotional discipline becomes automatic. Just like a habit, you no longer need to struggle to stay calm. It becomes your natural state. Empathy is also part of emotional discipline. Understanding others' feelings without being overwhelmed helps maintain relationships and teamwork. Emotional discipline is not coldness, it is clarity and composure, even when others are emotional. Decision-making depends on emotional control. Impulsive decisions often come from strong feelings, anger, excitement, or fear. Emotional discipline teaches you to pause, evaluate, and act based on reason and long-term goals, rather than momentary emotion. Failures are tests of emotional strength. Every setback brings frustration, self-doubt, and disappointment. Discipline allows you to process these feelings without losing momentum. You learn, adapt, and continue. Perseverance and emotional control work together to sustain progress. Daily reflection strengthens emotional awareness. Spend a few minutes each day reviewing how you reacted to challenges. Did you stay calm? Did you respond intentionally? What can you improve tomorrow? Reflection turns experience into growth. Visualization also supports emotional mastery. Imagine facing difficult situations calmly and successfully. Your mind practices composure before the real challenge. Rehearsal builds confidence and emotional stability. Consistency in emotion is as important as consistency in action. The mind and heart must align with your goals. When emotions fluctuate wildly, even disciplined action falters. Training your emotional response creates reliability and freedom. Emotional discipline is freedom. When your mind is calm and your reactions intentional, you are no longer a prisoner of every impulse or worry. You act from purpose, not chaos. You decide your day, your choices, and ultimately your life. Remember, emotions are signals, not commands. They show what matters to you, where attention is drawn, and what you value. Discipline interprets these signals wisely. You don't react, you respond. You don't get swept away, you steer. Anger, fear, and doubt are temporary. Discipline lasts. Emotional discipline is the bridge between what you feel and what you do. It transforms internal turbulence into external effectiveness. Even positive emotions need direction. Excitement, joy, and enthusiasm can be motivating, but without focus, they scatter energy. Emotional discipline channels all feelings, positive and negative, toward your mission. Over time, emotional discipline becomes effortless. You don't fight your feelings constantly, you anticipate them, guide them, and use them. You become composed, confident, and capable, even under pressure. This chapter teaches that the inner world shapes the outer world. Discipline of emotions is as important as discipline of action. Master your feelings, and you master your behavior. Master your behavior, and you master your results. Freedom is not only the absence of external constraints. True freedom comes from the ability to remain calm, intentional, and effective regardless of circumstance. Emotional discipline is the key to that freedom. As we move forward, the next chapter will explore mental toughness and resilience, showing how disciplined minds stay strong under pressure, adapt to challenges, and thrive in adversity. Chapter 12. Mental toughness and resilience. Life is unpredictable. Challenges appear without warning. Failures happen. Plans fall apart. Mental toughness and resilience are what allow some people to not only survive, but thrive in the face of adversity. They are the armor and the engine of disciplined minds. Mental toughness is not born overnight. It is built moment by moment, choice by choice. Every time you face difficulty and push through, your mental strength grows. Every time you choose persistence over surrender, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Strength is not what you have, it is what you demonstrate under pressure. Resilience is the ability to recover from setbacks. It is not about avoiding failure, it is about bouncing back. The resilient person accepts that life will hit hard, but they refuse to stay down. They see challenges as opportunities to learn, adapt, and improve. Fear and uncertainty are constant tests of toughness. The mind naturally wants comfort and safety. Mental toughness is deciding to move forward despite fear, despite doubt. It is acting because it is necessary, not because it feels easy. The more you practice this, the stronger you become. Resilient people understand control. They focus on what they can influence and release what they cannot. Worrying about uncontrollable circumstances wastes energy and erodes focus. Discipline teaches you to direct your mind toward solutions, not problems. Hardship teaches more than comfort ever will. Mental toughness grows when you willingly embrace difficulty. Each obstacle conquered reinforces confidence. Each challenge faced strengthens the mind's ability to endure. Avoiding challenges weakens it. Consistency supports resilience, even under pressure. Doing what you know is right keeps you moving. Habits, routines, and structured processes act as anchors during chaos. When the world is unpredictable, your habits stabilize your life. Mental toughness also requires perspective. Problems often seem larger than they are. Stepping back, breathing, and assessing objectively keeps your mind clear. Emotional discipline, which we covered earlier, is crucial here. Calmness under stress is the foundation of effective action. Failure is inevitable. The difference between the resilient and the defeated is what they do afterward. Every failure carries lessons. A tough mind extracts those lessons and moves on. It doesn't dwell on regret. It doesn't assign blame. It asks, what can I do next? Preparation strengthens toughness. When you anticipate challenges, mentally rehearse solutions, and strengthen your skills, adversity becomes less intimidating. The more capable you feel, the more resilient your response. Preparation is like armor. It reduces fear and increases confidence. Resilience also comes from acceptance. You cannot control everything. Life is messy, unfair, and unpredictable. Accepting reality does not mean giving up. It means responding effectively within what is possible. Resistance to reality only drains energy and focus. The strongest people are not those who feel no pain or fear. They are those who continue despite it. Every time you step forward when it's difficult, you signal to yourself that obstacles cannot dominate your life. That signal strengthens your mental framework. Self-talk is key. Encourage yourself during hard moments. Remind yourself of past successes and the skills you possess. Words shape perception. A resilient mind nurtures optimism, not denial. It acknowledges reality, but refuses to be paralyzed by it. Support networks matter. Even the strongest individuals benefit from guidance, mentorship, and encouragement. Resilience is strengthened by connection. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, encourage you, and keep you accountable. Mental toughness is tested in small ways every day. Completing a task when tired, resisting distractions, controlling emotional reactions, these moments train the mind for bigger challenges. Discipline in daily life builds resilience for extraordinary situations. Adaptability is part of resilience. Life rarely follows your plans exactly. Flexible thinking allows you to adjust strategies without abandoning purpose. A rigid mind breaks under pressure. A resilient mind bends but does not break. Stress management is essential. Physical health, rest, and nutrition all influence mental performance. A fatigued body weakens mental endurance. Resilience requires energy, and energy comes from taking care of yourself consistently. Visualization is another tool. Mentally rehearsing how you will respond to challenges strengthens confidence and reduces fear. When your mind has practiced persistence, your real-life response becomes more effective. Perseverance underpins mental toughness. Consistent effort through failure, fatigue, and frustration is what separates those who succeed from those who quit. Discipline creates a rhythm of persistence. That rhythm trains the mind to continue when the situation is hardest. Mental toughness and resilience together create freedom. You are no longer trapped by circumstances, setbacks, or fear. You learn to face reality clearly, act decisively, and recover quickly. Life's unpredictability becomes an arena for growth rather than a source of defeat. Failure teaches humility and empathy. Mentally tough people understand their limits and the challenges others face. Resilience builds character, compassion, and wisdom. Strength without humility is brittle. Resilience tempers it with flexibility. Celebrate small victories. Every recovered setback, every completed challenge, every moment you act despite fear is a reinforcement. Recognition builds confidence, making future resilience easier. The mind learns from success as well as failure. Discipline in action, emotional control, and consistent effort all feed mental toughness. They form a triangle: what you do, how you feel, and how you respond to adversity. Strengthen all three, and resilience becomes automatic. Remember, mental toughness is not about being unfeeling. It is about choosing how to feel, what to focus on, and how to respond. Strength without thought is reckless. Resilience without preparation is fragile. Discipline coordinates mind and emotion to act effectively. Life will continue to test you. Opportunities, challenges, and obstacles will come uninvited, but with mental toughness and resilience, you meet them with confidence. You no longer react randomly, you respond intentionally. Every test becomes a chance to grow stronger. The final truth is simple: life rewards those who persist. Adversity does not disappear, but the disciplined, resilient mind turns it into fuel. Every difficulty becomes a stepping stone. Every challenge is an opportunity to reinforce freedom through discipline. As we move to the next chapter, we will explore leadership and influence, how disciplined minds can guide, inspire, and create impact beyond themselves, using the inner strength and resilience they've built over time.